My phone screamed at 2 a.m. $40,000. Right now. Don't ask questions. My dad's voice was a stranger's, raw with a panic that turned my blood to ice. My first thought was his heart. My second, his funeral. I didn't wire the cash. I boarded a flight. And the lie I walked into changed everything I thought I knew about family. My name is Leo. In my family, I wasn't the favorite son. I was the reliable one. The human Band-Aid. If my younger brother, Jason, scraped his knee, it was a symphony of tears. If I broke my arm, I was told to walk it off. Our family photo looked perfect. Smiles and matching sweaters, a tidy lawn, a golden retriever. But inside our house, the rules were written in invisible ink. Dad demanded obedience. Mom curated peace at any cost. And Jason? Jason was the sun we all orbited. My job was to make sure his sky was never cloudy. I learned to anticipate needs, to fill silences with solutions. I gave up debate team for his soccer practices, skipped senior prom to drive him to a friend's. My achievements were met with a distracted nod. His were celebrated with balloons. Love, in our house, felt like a transaction where I was always overdrawn. So I left. I built a career, a life, a new name for myself 3 states away. But that old ingrained alarm, family needs you, never fully silenced. It's what had me on a red eye, heart hammering, imagining hospital corridors. The first clue was the wreath on their door. Not the somber, muted kind, but a cheerful ring of autumn leaves and berries. Through the front window, I saw laughter, not grief. I pushed the door open to the smell of mulled cider and cinnamon, not antiseptic or despair. The scene in the living room froze mid-frame. Mom clutched her chest. Dad's newspaper crinkled in his grip. And Jason, lounging on the sofa, held up his left hand. A diamond glittered, arrogant and cold under the lights. Spread across the coffee table were brochures for vineyards and beach resorts, fabric swatches, a spreadsheet titled Wedding Budget. Lau, what were you doing here? Mom finally stammered. You said it was an emergency, I said, my voice strangely calm. Dad recovered first, his face settling into familiar lines of mild irritation. It is an emergency. Planning a high-class wedding in 6 months is a logistical nightmare. We needed capital. The word capital hung in the air. I looked at Jason. He smirked, flexing his hand to catch the light. The engagement party's next week. You can just give us the check then. Save on transfer fees. A cold clarity washed over me. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a withdrawal from an account they thought I'd keep open forever. You made me think someone was dying. Mom waved a hand, a flutter of dismissal. We knew you'd overcomplicate it if we gave you details. You always do. We needed you to act. Act like an ATM, I said. Jason rolled his eyes. Dramatic. You've got the money. It's not like you're spending it on anything important. Something in me, a final thread, snapped. What about the $1,500 I send every month? The property tax crisis? The urgent roof repair? I gestured around the immaculate, newly renovated kitchen. The roof looks fine. Dad stood, his chair scraping loudly. That's different. That's your contribution to this family. This is for Jason's future. My future is a 5-star wedding, Jason chimed in, as if it were obvious. I pulled out my phone, my movements deliberate. Funny, while I was funding these crises, your social media showed new golf clubs, Dad. Luxury spa weekends, Mom. And you, Jason, I looked straight at him, just tagged yourself in Cabo last month. The color drained from Mom's face. You've been spying on us? I've been noticing, I corrected. The story and the proof stopped adding up. I took a slow breath, the truth settling like a weight lifted. I'm not giving you $40,000. I'm not sending another dime. The room erupted. Jason shot up, yelling about ruined dreams. Mom wept about shame and obligation. Dad threatened disownment. Their words crashed over me, but for the first time, they didn't touch me. I felt armored in my own truth. You don't get to use my fear as a down payment, I said, cutting through the noise. I turned and walked to the door, the sound of their chaos muffling behind me. The barrage of texts began instantly. Guilt, fury, vicious blame. I silenced the notifications. The next morning, from my own apartment, I canceled every automated payment. A single click that felt more powerful than any argument. The fallout was swift. The wedding was scaled back. The family chatter was a mix of pity and quiet respect. I heard through the grapevine they called me heartless. But here's the secret they'll never understand. In that quiet kitchen, surrounded by their greed, I didn't lose my family. I found myself. The constant low-grade anxiety I'd lived with vanished. My money, my time, my peace, they were finally mine. Real family doesn't weaponize your love. It doesn't send a midnight SOS to fund a champagne toast. Walking away wasn't an act of cruelty. It was the first and most vital act of self-preservation I'd ever allowed myself. And that silence after the storm? It wasn't empty. It was full of a new, profound sound. My own freedom, loud and clear.